It's been a while. I'm going to do a little bit of work today, but there's a lot to catch up on. It's been a while since I made a video. I had some personal things going on. I got to hit the road in a couple hours, but we'll do a recap and do some work on the fuel system. So the old fuel tank was a side mount. The cap was here, and the tank was not running. I couldn't pull any fuel from the tank. I don't know if you remember the old recovery video, but I had to bypass the fuel tank and run off of a gas can. So we pulled the tank off, and these mounting straps, or these mounting brackets here, had to cut the straps off. They're just welded underneath here. So I did find some online that have a T-bolt in them, and once those come in, we'll just cut a little hole right in here so we can put that T-bolt in there. And then on the other side, the threaded stud, this part here, we just put a washer and a nut on there and tension it up. So the tank itself, though, I was concerned about all the schmoo on the inside. So there's a product called Red Coat. It's a tank sealant for the inside of the gas tanks. It's red, and you just, once you clean up the gas tank, you pour it in there and shuffle around, coat each surface and rotate the tank into different positions every hour so that you can have an even seal across the whole inside of the tank. So we went ahead and coated this all up. The sending unit was also broken. Unfortunately, it's a 1964. I don't know if you can see the part number here, but that C4 is the beginning of the part number, and C denotes 1960s, so it's a 64 sending unit, which would be really cool. But this little nubbin right here, the contact that rubs inside there, broke off. Also, the barrel float is wasted. We're gonna go ahead and use some of this leftover stainless steel braided fuel line and some AN fittings to attach the hard fuel line. So the pickup tube here we'll put in there, and then come out with a 90, a little bit of flex line, and then through the firewall. We have to go through the firewall. I think it's right up there, but anyways, we'll take a closer look at that later. My brother Josh, he's doing a great job with the body work on this truck right now, and I'm super excited to get the doors in and install those. Just trying to get everything ready for when those come in. He did the fenders and the grill. That grill was smashed up in this front corner. He did a good job. So this is Baja Beige. It's a old Ford color, and that, I don't know if you remember my other 70 F100. It's got that Wimbledon white as well. It's a little bit of an off-white. As soon as the doors come in and we get this thing kind of a little more sealed up, go ahead and put the carpet in. I got the firewall insulation up. The heater box needed some new styrofoam, I guess you could call it. See that little flapper there? It's got like styrofoam on it, which kind of seals the air from going where you don't want it or where you want it to. So swapped out that foam. Took the heater core and the radiator to Performance Radiator in Everett. The heater core passed its test, so it went back in. This motor, this is the original blower motor, which I really want to keep, and some of the guys on the internet forums are talking about how they up the voltage to the motor and get a little bit more CFM out of it, so we'll give that a shot. Went ahead and went ahead and put new seals up here on these windshield wiper arm penetrations, and fixed all of our rust up in here, sealed that all off, as well as in this spot here, which is your fresh air vent. So these old Fords, if you've ever worked on them or took any close look at them, they're notorious for having rot in those areas. It's just where the rainwater channels, it runs through the cowl up here and then down in this area and exits down onto the ground over there, so you end up with a lot of rot in these areas. So really wanted to treat and protect that. The windshield, I was going to reuse. It wasn't cracked. I put the rubber on the glass and then had to leave, so it cured for an entire week. And then when I came back to install it, it wasn't flexible enough, and I ended up cracking it right down the middle, so had to come back and remove all the old sealant. I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and have one of these Safe Light or something like that, you know, one of those portable windshield companies come and put one in. The glass isn't terribly expensive, so that's good. This center port right here was actually the only one on the truck, but just like I talked about, that rain gutter, I guess you could call it, underneath the cowl and down off the side, I needed access, so I cut myself a few more. That one was existing, but I just couldn't reach this corner, and this corner was the worst part on both sides, so went ahead and got myself some access there. The radiator, when I took it to Performance Radiator in Everett, this was actually a different one, not the exact one that came out of the truck. The one that came out of the truck failed its test, had several holes in it, and would cost maybe $250 more to rebuild and recore than this one. And this is actually an original copper core direct replacement for this truck. It's exactly the same as the other one, so I hopped on this one. He just kind of had it sitting around, the guy there, so big shout out to them. That really helped a lot, saved me some coin. As far as protecting this radiator though, I mean, some of these semis you see on the road, they have like a bug mesh up front to protect the radiator, so I think maybe I'll sneak it in just behind this grill. Let's see what else we got going on. Battleborn brakes. Battleborn brakes, they create an adapter kit to relocate your vacuum canister. So originally this truck had Hydromatic, they call it, Hydromatic brake boost system, which is basically one of these vacuum canisters, but it's down underneath the driver's seat, and it's terribly hard, almost impossible to get replacement parts for that. So found these guys. This 11-inch vacuum canister is like from like a new, you know, F550 medium duty truck, and they have this bracket here that mounts right up to where your master cylinder originally sat, and then, you know, they send you with your double chamber master cylinder, so that we brake bled that. I brake bled that. It's just sitting in the shed right now until we get the hood on here. But that's going to be a good upgrade. Really happy with that. So we've got that hooked up to our brake pedal. Just a little bit, I'd say maybe an 1/8 inch, maybe a 1/8 inch of free play there. So that's tensioned nice and well. This corner, a bunch of rust in it as well. Got that sealed up. I can show you that drain port. So where the rainwater comes out right there. So it just flows right through there. So Les Schwab hooked us up with some nice Monroe front shocks. The other ones were blown out. You couldn't even, they wouldn't expand on their own. But obviously, who knows how old they are. Some new ball joint boots here and here. We do need 2 more, one on each the driver and the passenger side at that point right there, the steering linkage. But again, these hubs haven't been tended to. I mean, the brakes and stuff are all done in there, but we need to, you know, neutralize the rust. And inner fender liner, inner fender on the driver's side installed. The passenger side needs a battery box welded into it before I could put that in, but honestly, that's how I get in and out of the the engine compartment, is just crawling underneath that. Skagit powder coating, they did a great job, as always, with these door hinges. They did a really close match. I mean, I mean, you're not even hardly going to see this, of course, until the doors open, but they did a good job getting all these parts, these moving parts, coated. Really happy with that. Interior color scheme, we're going to do a white, or the off-white headliner. So here's our 80/20 pile. And then I'll just have to keep you guys in suspense for the color of the seat, dash pad, steering wheel, and armrests. It's going to be a little bit different, but I think it'll all come together. So you notice the insulation pad, heat pad, is up here on the wall. So I'm going to bring the carpet all the way up, and then right there in that break, we're going to do a little tiny piece of like sheet aluminum to separate. So that's why the paint stops there. Undecided if I want to do carpet all the way up the back, but I definitely want to cover that firewall insulation, maybe up to where those bolts are, so that you don't see it. Anyways, we got some time for that. As of yesterday, I just disassembled this, what is it, 73 new process 435 4-speed. They're very common, so it's easy for me to find replacement parts for. I need gaskets and a couple plastic inserts. Some people on the old Ford forums are theorizing that the need to double pump the clutch in order to get into a new gear is because of bad synchros. So that'll come in the kit. It's reasonably priced, and this manual gearbox should be, well, it's already been much easier to work on than the Toyota. But didn't find anything crazy in there. The needle bearings fell to pieces, but that's nothing that a little bearing grease can't fix. I actually ran out of time yesterday. Didn't get the reverse gear out, but we'll get her cleaned up. She's got a little bit of confetti in the bottom. That could have been me, but there weren't any chunks. I can tell you that the gear teeth and everything were all real good looking. I know what some of you guys are saying. Why did you do your Ford motor in Chevy orange? I will tell you, this is a Ford color. This is a Ford red. So when, oh, here's your proof. Okay, you see this original color here? That right there, that is distinctly red. Yes? Okay. So what do we got? Kept the dual thermostats in here. Had to replace those in the very first recovery video. We will be plugging this, I believe. It was used for the hydrovac brake boosting system, so we don't need that anymore. Usually you'd run a vacuum line off of your carburetor to your brake booster. So if that's present, I can't remember, but if that's present, we'll use that. If not, maybe we will have to use this little guy. But intake manifold's ready. I'm not gonna put the water pump on because I just want to keep this as short as possible in the front. I don't want to bang up that that new radiator. But the passenger bank, 1 through 4, that one is on the drill press right now. 9 out of the 10 exhaust manifold bolts snapped off, and I broke 2 drill bits off trying to drill those and tap those holes. So really kind of hosed myself, and it is terrible to try and get parts into a machine shop nowadays. The Jay's machine shop in Everett used to be there for us, and they've shut down since. And Dave's up in the north end. He's just swamped. That poor man, I ask him every time I'm in there, have you gotten an apprentice yet? We got to keep this thing going, but nobody wants to do the work, so it's too bad. So starting from the bottom, I guess, and just to put your mind at ease, I will eventually be replacing these steel freeze plugs with brass ones. It's just what they had available, and we're going to be doing a block heater there, but I didn't want to be tripping all over the cord. So opening this whole thing up, checked the crank journals, the bearings, those were within spec. Same with the connecting rods and the connecting rod bearings, and all that was good. The piston rings, when I took those off, 3 pistons had compression rings that just shattered off into pieces. They were just broken right in the ring seat. So no wonder the thing was smoking going down the road. That, and there was a valve that was just not fully seating on the driver's side, and really caked in carbon. So the piston rings came from Hastings, and it turns out that these pistons are from a 390. So this is a Ford FT motor, and Ford FE motors are like common, like 360, 351, 390, and then you've got your FT motors, which they have different physical characteristics, like a 330, a 361, 359, things like that. So a little bit different, and they have different intended applications, like medium duty trucks, heavy duty trucks, things like that. So, and then the FE motors would be in passenger cars and light duty trucks. So the pistons came out of a 390, and the 390 pistons, or excuse me, the FE pistons have your 2 ring seats and then your oil ring seat for a total of 3, and then your FTs should have 4. So that's what got me digging around on that. They do have the same bore, right? 359 and a 390. They're both 4.05. And so this is bored 30 over. And so we just had to shop for some 30 over piston rings for a 390, which wasn't hard to find at all. She's a little bit of a Frankenstein. So starting from the bottom, and so the crank is from a 1973 330, and that's based off the casting number on the crank. The block is a 74 359. Okay. Now the 330 and the 359 have different bore, right? The size of the cylinder is different. And so this is only bored 30 over, so it couldn't be a 330. Okay. And then moving up, the connecting rods based on the casting number or the stamp number is they're out of a 428 1968. And the piston rings, I don't know what year they are, but they're from a 390. So she's a bit of a Frankenstein, but it's all working together. So the cylinder heads are from a 359. I know that because of the size of the intake valves and the valves on the exhaust. This book is awesome. It gives you all the details, and you just kind of take your, mic your measurements and cross-reference your book. So went ahead and took all these valves out, checked the condition of the umbrella valve stem seals, cleaned everything, lapped the valve seats so that the valve sits completely 360 degrees fully onto the cylinder head. Well, this mesh grate down in here, we need to drop down. I wasn't trying to fuse that grate to the bottom of the tank, so now that we've got the inside of the tank all sealed, we can relocate this mesh grate. We don't want to get any paint down in there. The inside of that tank's all nice and clean. So I'm just gonna stuff a rag right in here. And this gasket obviously needs to be replaced. I've got it as a reference. I think I might have another one, but that needs a nice clean seal for it to sit on, yeah? We can't just put it right on top of the paint. Yeah, we'll just clean this up with some 400. Alright, we're going to go ahead and install our pickup tube here. Clear that all nice and out. Okay. Let's just talk about this for a second. So, see how this is just a flat, it's slightly beveled. I don't know if you can see that. It tapers, the threads there, so it gets tighter as you tighten it, yeah? Now, inside of there is just straight threads. Now if you look at, say, this one, see how that's a beveled edge. I can't remember the correct name for this, but also this is like a male beveled edge, and this in here is a female beveled edge. Yeah? So you want to use the appropriate fittings. This one is a reverse bevel, right? So these two can go together, yeah, because this, you can kind of see where it was contacting before. It wasn't this piece, but this one will work. So you just want to make sure that you're using flared ends for flared ends and standard, you know, threaded shanks for standard threads. So it turns out I don't have the AN fittings. These are AN fitting adapters. We're just going to protect this because I don't want any schmoo in there. Okay, now to cut this stainless steel braided line is a little tricky, not impossible. Takes some patience, and I'll show you guys. So I'm going to cut 14 inches. It definitely stabs you, so be careful. Wrap it tight with some painter's tape. I suppose it could be Toby tape, it could be 100-mile-an-hour Cedar Woolly chrome. You know, whatever you got handy. But basically you need to keep the braids, the whatchamacallit, the fibers together as you cut it. So we're just gonna cut it with the ye old bandsaw. Or I wish I had my bandsaw. We're gonna cut it with this hacksaw here. So just light and smooth. What do they say? Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So does that mean that slow is fast? Alright, there we go. We'll save the rest of this. I'm sure we'll need a little bit more for this project. Not bad. So we'll kind of just have this guy right like this, something like that, into that other fitting. Well guys, this is it for me. I got to get on the road. See y'all next time.